Welcome back to A New York State of Mind. Hi, I'm your host, Ralph Miranda. I'm joined by our producer, Nathan Miranda, and time to recap the Yankees series with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Yankees came off a somewhat impressive series against the Twins, although they could not get the sweep. They won 2 out of 3. They go into St. Louis. I was hoping that they could get 2 out of the 3 there, and fortunately, the Yankees were able to sweep that series with the Cardinals. So that gives the Yankees 5 wins out of their last 6 games, puts them on a nice track, as we'll discuss a little bit later, as far as the playoff race, and gives them a little bit of momentum as they get almost through the August schedule. The Yankees, after the Cardinal series, they start a series with Tampa tonight, 2 games in Tampa Bay, and then they'll finish August against Boston, Washington, and the Chicago White Sox. So let's recap the series real quick. Game 1, the Yankees won Game 1 on Friday night 4-3. They did have a 4-1 lead at one point, had to hold on. Jazz Chisholm with a 2-run home run in the first inning put them up 3-0. Luis Gil was the starter. He was able to go 5 in the third innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Duvall came in for 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 runs, both of them earned, 2 strikeouts and a walk. And then Weaver gave it over to Bednar, both of them pitching extremely well. Bednar getting the save, and the Yankees win Game 1 4-3. The Yankees scored 4 runs. As I said, in Game 1, they had 7 hits. They still struck out 12 times. They did draw 7 walks, and they stole 3 bases. So Game 1 was a good win for the Yankees. They almost blew it, but they didn't. They were able to come back and win that, or not come back, but hold on and win that game to take Game 1. Then we went to Game 2 on Saturday. That was an interesting game. Max Fried, the so-called ace for the Yankees, started that game. Did not look very good. The Yankees jumped out to an early lead. Fried gave up some runs real quickly, and the Yankees were behind 5-2. They were able to get one of those runs back to make it 5-3, and then Ben Rice in the 4th inning with a big 3-run home run to put the Yankees up 6-5. They extended the lead to 9-5, ended up winning the game 12-8. They got 3 in the 6th and 3 in the 7th. So the Yankees were scoring some runs, and it was good to see them win a game where they got behind and were able to fight back and win that game, which we hadn't seen much since early in the season. The concerning part of that game was Max Fried. Another poor start for Max Fried. He was only able to go 5 innings. He gave up 8 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, all of them earned, 6 strikeouts, a walk, gave up 2 home runs. Max Fried, before the All-Star break, in fact, I think it was before the Cubs start, the week before the All-Star break, had a 1.92 ERA. He now has a 3.26 ERA. He has not pitched well at all since the All-Star break. Of course, remember, he only pitched 3 innings against the Cubs in that last start before the All-Star break because of the blister on his finger. But since then, he's not been able to locate his pitches. He's been high with a lot of pitches. He hasn't been able to get ahead of batters and leaving pitches too fat in the strike zone, and teams have been hitting him. So Fried did not last very well, but in a quirk, though, he got the win to put him to 13-5 on the season, because he did pitch through 5 innings, and the Yankees had the lead. They were able to get the lead back. Remember, Rice hit the 3-run homer in the 4th to put them up 6-5. When he left, they had the lead. They never relinquished the lead after that, so Max Fried was able to get the win. Devin Williams pitched another strong inning, 3 strikeouts. De Los Santos, another two strong innings with 2 strikeouts. And then Bednar came in for the save. The Yankees were up 12-7, or actually I think it was 12-5. They brought in Mark Leiter Jr. to kind of not use Bednar, since it really wasn't a safe situation. He couldn't get the last out in the 9th, gave up a home run, so they brought Bednar in to close it out and get the save. So the Yankees were 2 games up. Now the question was, could they win Game 3? Well, they could. Game 3 on Sunday, the Yankees won 8-4. They were up 3-2 after they were losing 3-2 after 4, and then they took the lead 4-3 after 6. They scored 4 runs in the 9th inning. It was 4-4 at that point. They scored 4 runs to go up 8-4, and were able to win that game 8-4. Again, a little bit concerning. Will Warren only able to give them 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, 3 strikeouts and a walk. Devin Williams, a strikeout in a third of an inning. Duvall, one and a third innings, gave up a home run. Tim Hill, 1 inning, a clean one. And then Weaver came in and got the win with an inning and 2/3 with a strikeout and a walk. So the Yankees came out of St. Louis with a sweep. It was a good series from that perspective. There are still some, and I don't want you to think I'm always down on the Yankees. I'm not, but I think it's important to highlight the deficiencies. Okay, I'm very happy about their offensive explosion this weekend. As I said, the Yankees scored 24 runs in these 3 games. They had 30 hits in these 3 games. But they struck out 30 times. That's an average of 10 strikeouts a game. They did draw 20 walks, which shows some good patience at the plate, and they stole 9 bases. That's good. The Yankees had not been running very much, but now with Caballero that they got from the Rays, with Volpe trying to steal a little bit more, Chisholm stealing a little bit more, they're getting a little bit more aggressive on the base paths, which I think is going to come back to help them. So overall, a very good offensive series. Pitching-wise, not good at all. As I said, Gill only gave them 5 1/3, Fried only gave them 5, and Warren only gave them 4 2/3. I've mentioned this time and time again. It sounds like a broken record, but if you consistently ask your bullpen to get 12 outs or more every game, it's not a recipe for success. Because as good as a bullpen pitcher may be, he can't be on every night. That's just the nature of pitching. And when you ask these guys to get 12 outs or more, it means that the majority of your bullpen is going to be used a lot every week. And it's not a recipe for success. So that's a concern for the Yankees going forward. Let's look at some of the performances by the individual players. Grisham was 4 for 12 in the series. He struck out 4 times, had 4 walks. Rice was 5 for 12. He had 7 RBIs, all of them in Game 2. 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. Judge was 3 for 10, a strikeout and 4 walks. Bellinger was 0 for 9. That's concerning. We talked about Bellinger's kind of falling back into a mini slump, kind of getting off on his front foot and getting that head too far forward, and it looks like he's struggling. He had a strikeout and a couple RBIs. Chisholm was 1 for 9 with 4 strikeouts and 4 walks and 4 RBIs. He did have 1 home run. Austin Wells continues to struggle, 1 for 5, 2 strikeouts. McMahon, the third baseman, was 3 for 11 with 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 RBIs. He did hit a home run, which was nice to see. Volpe was 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts, and he did not play on Sunday. It was the first time that Volpe had not started a game this season. Caballero played short, played it very well. Volpe is back to struggling again, even after his short offensive outburst here the last few weeks or since the All-Star break. Caballero, as I said, played right field, played shortstop, played right field in Game 2, played shortstop in Game 3. He was 3 for 8. He had 1 strikeout and scored 3 runs and 1 RBI. Dominguez was 5 for 13, 5 for 14. Very good performance for him. 4 strikeouts on the series, 3 RBIs for him. So let's look at the batting averages right now. Grisham's hitting .247. Rice is hitting .240. Judge has fallen down to .333. But as I mentioned last time we were together, since the All-Star, or since he was rested that one night in Kansas City back in early June, he's hitting .235. Bellinger is down to .264. Chisholm .236. Wells a dismal .206. Volpe .215. McMahon .222. Caballero .233. Dominguez .257, which is not all that bad. But and then there's Giancarlo Stanton. Okay, Giancarlo Stanton did not play at all in St. Louis. The reasoning for that was that he had played 3 straight games in right field against Minnesota, and for all intents and purposes was the offensive star of that series. But they didn't want to push him too much in right field, have him play right field too much. That's a little bit of a head scratcher. I mean, if you've got a young, and I don't get me wrong, I understand that he's 30 some years old. He's had injuries, but they've got 2 years left in his contract. He's under contract through 27 with the Yankees. Play the guy. He's your best hitter right now, your hottest hitter right now. He's hitting 300. He's got 12 home runs, 34 RBIs with an OPS of 953, and he's only played 44 games. So that tells you right there that he's starting to heat up. You remember, he didn't even have a spring training. He was completely on the shelf until early June. So he's getting hot. So you got to keep him in the lineup. And if Judge can't play the field yet, then Stanton's going to have to play right field, all right? And if you don't want to sit Judge down and let Stanton be the DH, then that's the way it's going to have to be. Otherwise, you're taking arguably your best bat right now out of the lineup. And that's not really a recipe for success for the Yankees. I'm concerned about the strikeouts. The Yankees are striking out way too much. They're at the top of the major, or near the top of the major leagues in total team strikeouts. As I said, they struck out 30 times against the Cardinals, 10 times a game. I mean, the problem with strikeouts, and I know in today's baseball, we've talked about this before, they don't care about strikeouts anymore. It's all about exit velocity, launch angle, hit the ball in the air. I'm an old school guy. I don't buy that philosophy. I think we need to go back to the days of, Tony Gwynn and Clemente and all those guys that hit gappers, line drives to the gap, hard base hits down the line. Because when you strike out with runners on base, anytime you have runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs, a strikeout is the absolute worst thing you can do. You got to put the ball in play somehow, some way. Either you'll get an error, either you'll get a base hit that's going to score both runs. You might get a sacrifice fly that'll score a run. But either way, you're going to make the defense make a play. When you strike out, nothing happens. There's no good to that, all right? And again, this is something that's not going to change. The philosophy is the same now. And part of it is all the trend towards analytics. We talked about that last time. Most of you general managers now are all MBAs. They've never played baseball or been involved in Major League Baseball. It's all numbers, tendencies, situational tendencies, and statistics. And that really doesn't work very well in baseball. So the Yankees need to clean that up. The good thing for the Yankees, one of the advantages of this series was that on Sunday when they won Game 3, all the other teams they were chasing lost. Toronto lost, the Red Sox lost, the Guardians lost, and the Mariners lost. So going into tonight, the Yankees, remember, didn't play yesterday, but going into tonight, the Yankees are back into second place in the American League East. They're 5 games behind Toronto, 4 back in the loss column. But remember, actually 5 back because of the tiebreaker. Boston now is tied with the Yankees in winning percentage, but the Yankees have 1 less loss because they've played 2 less games. And then the Guardians. Now let's look at the wild card race. The wild card race, the Yankees now have moved into the first wild card spot. They have, as I said, a game advantage over Boston because of that 1 less loss. And the same as the Mariners. The Mariners have the exact same record as the Red Sox. Yankees, 1 less loss, so technically they're in the lead. So that could flip at any time. And remember, going into the St. Louis series, the Yankees had a half-game lead over the Guardians for that last playoff spot. Now the Guardians are a full 3 games behind the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mariners as well. So the Yankees have put themselves in pretty good position here. And I think going forward, if they can continue to win some games without botching their chances, I think they have an excellent chance to make the playoffs. They do have 3 games left with Toronto in September. So all things being equal, that means not counting the games that the Yankees have with other teams and the games that Toronto has with other teams. All things being equal, if the Yankees are able to sweep that, they would be within a couple games of the Blue Jays. But we know that's probably not going to happen. Even if it does, we don't know what's going to happen in these other games. The Yankees have what I consider to be a rather difficult schedule, if you look at it. We talked about tonight they start a 2-game series with Tampa in Tampa. Then they come home for a very important 4-game series with the Red Sox. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then 3 at home with the Nationals, and then 4 on the road with the White Sox. After last night, which was an off night, the Yankees will not have another off day until September 1st. So they have to play, 4, 6, 9, 13 straight games, which, that's obviously doable at this time of year. But then September doesn't get any easier. The Yankees go to Houston for 3. Remember what happened? Houston beat them 2 out of 3 at home. They come home then for the 3 against Toronto. They'll have a day off on September 8th. Then they host Detroit for 3. The Tigers lead the Central Division. Then they go to Boston for 3, to Minnesota for 3, to Baltimore for 4. Then they come home to close the season out with a 3-game series with the White Sox and a 3-game series with the Orioles. So really, really important games coming up for the Yankees. I want to talk a little bit about the Boston series coming up. First of all, the Yankees need to take care of business, tonight and tomorrow. If they do that, then they've got the 4-game series coming up with Boston. Boston right now is playing the Orioles. So we don't know what's going to happen there. The Orioles have kind of, I don't want to say given up on the season, but they're done. So we don't know what's going to happen, who their starting pitching is going to be, whatever. But Boston does play the Orioles. So assuming that Boston wins their games with the Orioles and the Yankees win their games with Tampa, then we've got a 4-game series with Boston with both teams essentially tied. All right, the Yankees with 1 less loss, but both teams essentially tied. The Red Sox swept the Yankees last time they were in New York, and they took 2 out of 3 in Boston. So this is going to be a crucial series, and I'm gonna go so far as to say that this 4-game series with the Red Sox will determine the Yankee season. Okay, and here's why I say that: if the Yankees get swept by Boston, it's over. Okay, I mean you can forget it. If Boston wins all 4 games, the Yankees will be 4 games behind them. They'll probably be 7, 8 games behind Toronto, and could be out of the playoff picture depending upon what Cleveland and Seattle does. So that's a death knell for the Yankees. If the Yankees lose 3 out of the 4, if they only salvage 1 game, it's about as close to a death knell as you can get without it being a death knell. All right, but it's pretty bad. I said, remember a few weeks ago, I think the Yankees need to split the series. If they split the series, I think they're right on track, because then they lose no ground on Boston. Even though they didn't pick any up, they didn't lose any, and then they'll have 3 left with them in September. And then obviously it goes without saying, if the Yankees win 3 out of 4 or sweep Boston, hey, that's golden, and it puts the Yankees in tremendous position going forward as far as the postseason is concerned. So a crucial series with the Red Sox. And then it becomes even more crucial to play Washington and to sweep them. So let's go back over what I said at the start of the August campaign. I said the Yankees needed to go 17-5 with their remaining schedule in August. I said they had to go 2-1 against Houston. They went 1-2. I said they had to sweep Minnesota. They went 2-1. I said they had to go 2-1 against the Cardinals. They swept them. So after 3 series, I said the Yankees should be 7-2, but they ended up being 6-3, and I'm okay with that right now. They can make up that other game later. They have to take these 2 from Tampa. They have to at least split with Boston. They have to sweep the Nationals and then take 3 out of 4 from the White Sox, and they'll be at worst 16-6, which I can live with. But we've got some crucial games coming up. And then after the Boston series, I said when you get into September, you've got back-to-back 3-game series, 3 in a row, with division leaders. The Astros in Houston leading the West, Toronto 3 at home leading the East, and Detroit 3 at home leading the Central. So we'll know a lot about the Yankees here over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But right now, let's enjoy the fact that they did sweep the Cardinals, and they will play Tampa for 2 here starting tonight. Hopefully, the results will be something that we can be proud of. So I thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time. Make sure you let us know when you listen to this video how you liked it. Give us a thumbs up. Give us some comments. Whatever comments you might have, we'll do our best to respond to them. So for A New York State of Mind, I'm Ralph, and he's Nathan, our producer, and we'll see you next time.